happened?
Gil, why don't you tell us, because I'm not sure what I just saw.
You know, Ronda Rousey looked like she had confidence in her striking out the gate, ate a jab, and I just think she was a deer in the headlights after that. I think she relived what happened last time and just couldn't get going. And to Chael's point, I thought she might be able to make improvements in this time. Hey, there's time to make improvements out there, and there was just no improvements, no moving your head off the line. She ate punch after punch, just could not grab her, couldn't get within grab and reach. And eventually the ref had to jump in and save her.
She needed one of these. That's what happened is we got the helmets here at the desk. Look, Gil nailed it. We wondered early on, would Ronda be able to get to the clinch? The relevance of the clinch is she has to get through Amanda's hands and feet, what's so scary. What she failed to do at Ronda Rousey, what she failed to do against Holly Holm. Will she be able to get in there, walk through the fire, get into that dangerous area, and get to where she needs to be? And the answer was no. As soon as she got even close to that, she took a couple shots right down the middle. Her head was bouncing off. Look, she looked slow. She looked like a fighter with ring rust. In fairness, this is not to kick her while she's down, but what I saw was a slow fighter with poor reactions that was hesitant, that was not ready to get into the clinch and do what needed to be done, and she came in second.
Does that sound accurate to you?
That's actually accurate right there, and I was just very disappointed. There was no head movement at all, just very linear, just straight here, so straight punches down the middle. She did the perfect tactic that Holly Holm did, except a little more vicious, right down the middle.
We were having a conversation, fellas, earlier when you came in, and we were talking about the idea that, and the analogy I was making is that coaches come here, right, and they get used to how comfortable this seat is, and they get very well paid to sit here, and they don't have to deal with winning games to make the playoffs. And what I'm getting at is that they transition into a different line of work where they just don't have the fire to be in the fire. Is this the type of thing where Ronda Rousey she got beat, she got shook, and then she lost the will to be what she appeared to be? Does that make any sense at all?
I think that that's very fair. That's what it appeared to be. Listen, she was riding very high, but in truth, the division was forming. And as much as the media had created this, I can remember 14 months ago before her first loss, we were having talks that she could beat Floyd Mayweather. Now, as absolutely as insane as that is, the media was perpetuating what I didn't know about Ronda, and I say this as a personal friend of hers, what I didn't know is that she was so tied to her career, that her worth as a human being, that her value was so tied to her career. And when she lost that championship, she went to a very dark place that she publicly talked about. And I was very surprised to realize Ronda is a lifelong competitor. This is competition, but the rest of life is what goes on outside of those 25 minutes once every 3 months. So I was very surprised about that. But to your point, this is about psychology. This is about the psychology of Ronda Rousey. And I can tell you physically, when you step away from something, particularly in a forming division, she rose to the top, but there wasn't very many women doing it. That has changed. The landscape has changed in the last calendar year. And now we're starting to see it. Not only did she lose, the person that she beat her lost, that person lost, and now Amanda Nunes stands there. It has been musical chairs for that championship, and she's just not there anymore.
And not to take it from Amanda Nunes, but I do believe it is that human nature thing. You know, she was comfortable. She did get the movie. She did get the big money. She did reach her goals, and then you lose. It's very hard to bounce back from that, and that's where she had a lot of mental baggage coming into here. And when she got hit the first time, didn't look like the first time when she got hit with Holly. She still kept in. Once she got hit, she just turned into a different person.
Gil, it was like she remembered. It was like she had I almost saw it because I've done it. I think she had a flashback of what happened with Holly, and boy, she got scared. I mean, her body froze up.
Yes.
She wasn't firing back. She wasn't bobbing and weaving. She froze, Gil, and she was just waiting for the worst to come.
Exactly.
And it did.
And you speak about the money, and we were talking about this earlier. Your reaction to the fact that the $3 million that she was getting, as opposed to the $100,000 that the champ got, that was surprising to you that was shared with folks. Why? Why was that surprising?
Well, it's never been made public before. The way the UFC works, and Dana White, the president of the UFC, has been called every bad name in the world. He's been called greedy. He's all sorts of things, when the truth is he's never been greedy. He's always been shelling out the money. He just protected the athletes. He believed from watching NFL players, Major League Baseball players, basketball players, that when their family and friends found out how much they were making, all of a sudden they're picking up the tab everywhere, and life isn't so great. So he protected his athletes, even though it cost him his own reputation. People called him the worst names, when the truth was he was always spreading the wealth. He was always sharing. What's different about today, though, is they are now disclosing that. Usually they would keep that private. They've now disclosed. Ronda Rousey got $3 million, and the controversy was that her opponent, who is the champion, got $100,000, when the reality is Ronda's the one people tuned in for.
Hold that thought for a moment, guys. We got to get to a quick break. We'll step aside for a moment. We'll get more thoughts on you. I think the biggest question is this it? I mean, and I'm going to get your answer on that. And Demarcus Walker is going to join us live from the field of the Orange Bowl. So we're